Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to give an introduction to Lab 6 where we're going to work with dictionaries. So in this lab you're going to build a program that can take in a sentence and translate it into ASCII characters, which is a way that characters in text were encoded on computers into binary. And so you can see there's a link to a website that will tell you some more about this if you are interested. You don't need to go to this website if you don't want to, but for example, you can see that the exclamation point is encoded using the 8-bit binary encoding 00100001. And so what we have is our own mapping between those ASCII codes and characters. I'll go ahead and save that. It's going to be used by my program, so I need to save it in the same directory that my Python source code is located in. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up and just take a look at it. I'll use TextEdit and make it a little bigger. And so, just like we saw on that website, our, say, exclamation point is encoded as 00100001. And so this file has a bunch of commonly used characters and their ASCII encoding. And so in Lab 6, let's just go ahead and save that and take a look at it. I'll open it in idle. Alright, so it looks like we need to add in some missing functions. So let's go ahead and take a look at the description of the assignment. So we need to modify our program by adding the create dictionary function, which will take in a file name, which contains an unknown number of lines that give us the ASCII encodings of characters. We can see that there's a description up here. And this function should return a dictionary where the keys are characters and the values are the 8-bit representations. Those are those binary 0-1 encodings. So I'm just going to create that function. So I need to make a create dictionary function. It takes in a file name. ASCII codes.csv is what we call it on in this program. And what does it need to do? It needs to make a dictionary where keys are characters and values are the binary representation. So maybe I'm going to call this dictionary something like char to ASCII, because it takes characters and translates them into ASCII encodings. I'll start off by just making this an empty dictionary, and I then want to return that, right? Because that's how I use this function in this program. Now, if we look in the assignment, we see that there's something special going on with the spaces. Oops. And with the spaces and the comma. And I will put this into my program as a comment. And then let's go ahead and look at that ASCII file again. Let's see if I can open it up and we can see what is meant there. So if you're looking at this file, you'll notice that for every line, there's just one character and then the ASCII encoding, except for there are two lines where that's not the case. And one is the space and one is the comma. And so for this space and comma, what this little note is saying is that in my dictionary, I should have a entry that takes the space character to some ASCII code, and I should have an entry that takes the comma character to some ASCII code, right? And so you'll get these from the file, but I want this. I don't want space, the string space, to go to, we can actually just, so what should be happening? Space, the space character should be mapping to this encoding. And the comma character should be mapping to this encoding. I don't want the string space to map to this ASCII encoding. That would be incorrect. And you don't want to just hard code these in like this. You should process them in from the file. I just wrote this to really hopefully make it clear what that note is saying. It's saying that you need a key that's the space character, not a key that is the string space. But you should process these in a similar way to the way that you process the rest of the characters. Okay, so let's take a look back over here. We need to add the translate function. It has a parameter sentence and a parameter dictionary and a parameter file name. So let's create that. So translate has a parameter sentence, parameter dictionary, and a parameter output file name. And what should it do? In the output file, each character and sentence should appear on its own line, followed by a space, followed by its 8-bit representation. And if the character does not appear in the dictionary, the word unknown should appear instead of the 8-bit representation. And so we can see an example of what this looks like using these output files. So I'm just going to click on one and we can take a look. So let's go to our idle file. So we can see this first sentence says, Buck lived at a big house in the sun-kissed Santa Clara Valley, followed by some more stuff. And we can see that just like the description says, each letter of the sentence, or each character of the sentence actually, is printed, followed by a space, followed by the ASCII encoding. And so we could see that this is right. The ASCII encoding for B is, let's look for it, Control F, B. Is it 01000010? Why, yes it is 01000010. And so every character is printed with its ASCII encoding, and it looks like this one doesn't have any unknowns, but maybe output 2 does. Nope. Output 3, output 3 has a tilde, and our ASCII file does not have a tilde in it, and so that's why we should be printing unknown. And so you're going to have to figure out how to do that if you see a character that was not in the ASCII file. So Translate should create an output file called output file name, where each character of sentence S is translated to its ASCII encoding. And so that will be up to you to figure out how to complete. And then let's just take one look back at the specification for the assignment and the grading. So we talked about we need to create this dictionary. We need to make sure that we do the correct thing for the space character and the comma character. We need to correctly translate each character. When we get a character that's not in our ASCII file, we need to print unknown. We need to match the format exactly. So you should use diff checker there to make sure that you are matching the format exactly. And then finally, I really wanted to point this out because it could be easy to miss. We need to put a comment at the top of the Python file explaining why the comma character and the space character are treated differently in ASCII codes.csv. So just write a sentence or two talking about how this program would have been more difficult to write, different if the comma character and the space character were not given to you in the way that they are. Alright, that is Lab 6. Good luck, and ask if you have any questions.